What's up guys, this is Teddy. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This video we're going to continue on with the GET request, the longest part of this app, and we're just going to take it one piece at a time, and we're going to go ahead and start with our interfaces just like last time. So first things first, go into your interfaces folder. We're going to create another interface. So click the interface and we're going to go ahead and start on the iOwner repository. So we got that. We're going to go down in here and let's see. First, we're going to start off with an iCollection, which iCollection, I think I talked about this in another video. iCollection is a editable version of IEnumerable. IEnumerable is actually the most bare bones version of collections in C#, and iCollection is kind of like an intermediary or a middle ground between IEnumerable and a list. A list is the most full featured, so just a cool little piece of trivia for you guys, and maybe you can use that in a future endeavor of yours at your job, or maybe you can impress an employer, because I have been asked that on a interview, so definitely take note. All right, so we're going to go in here. We're going to create a Pokemon, and we're going to go get Pokemon by owner. Then we're going to pass in our int owner ID, and I just noticed that the IntelliSense typed that wrong, so we're going to go up here and we're going to type in int, then we're going to type in PokeID. So got those, and we're going to do a bool and do an owner exists. And we're going to do an int owner ID. Great. Once we have our interface finished, naturally what we want to do, like we've done in all of the other ones, we are going to create a repository for it. So we're going to go up here, going to go up to our repository. So we're going to go iRepository, or iOwner repository, repository. Great. And I'm going to go ahead and rename that. We don't want it to be iOwner repository. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and delete it and redo this. Sorry, guys. And won't take but a second, though. So go back up here. We're going to go owner repository. Great. And then we're going to go ahead, implement our interface. iOwner repository. Great. Let's go up here. Then we're going to implement our interface. Then we're going to do our get owner. Or actually, I'm sorry, we're going to bring in our constructor. We need to bring in our constructor first. So we're going to bring in our data context. As I say in all of my other videos, just remember repository is a fancy word for where you put your database calls. And it is a form of constructor injection. A lot of times people get totally wrapped up in, I guess, like the details of what dependency injection is, but the only form of dependency injection that you're ever going to have to learn is going to be constructor injection. So if you really want to deep dive into it, you probably don't even need to learn the details of dependency injection, honestly, but if you really want to go and maybe impress some employers, or you want to get that really low level knowledge, maybe after this video, go check out constructor injection and read about some constructor injection, and that'll help you. So get owner. So what we're going to do here, this is going to be kind of like a little bit of a tricky one. We're going to go in here. We're going to go to our join table, and we're going to filter in our join table. So we're going to go p equal p dot, p dot Pokemon .id, and we're going to be pulling it by the PokeID. and we have to do our select here because remember that Entity Framework does not automatically bring in navigation properties. And I went into more detail about that, but that is the reason why we have to do the select, or you have to do an include. Either one, either or, whichever one you're more comfortable with. I like to do a little bit of both. I think they're both good. So we're going to go return, and we're going to get the owners, and we're just going to make this one super simple. We're just going to go into our owners, and we're just going to list all of them out. In a bigger app, you would have filtering, and I might come in later and maybe implement some filtering to this API. But more than likely, if you were going to see this in like a quote unquote production environment, this is going to have filtering. This is going to have pagination. Usually, you would not just see just pulling from a list like that, but that could actually be a video for another day. Right now, we're kind of in beginner mode, and we're just gonna, get this beginner API going, and that's pretty much it. So Pokemon, then we're gonna have ID, then we're gonna have the Poke ID dot select. Actually, we're gonna do owner. So get owner of a Pokemon. So let's see, get Pokemon. Actually, this is, let me see here. Get Pokemon by owner. I'm trying to think, get Pokemon by owner. We're gonna actually, this is actually going to be the owner, and then we're gonna have the owner ID right here. So then we're gonna have P, we're gonna bring in that Pokemon, bring in that Pokemon entity, and we're gonna go to list. And this thing's kind of getting in the way there, so just like that. Let me see. And then, of course, we have to do an owner exist. So we're just going to go here. We're going to go return context is equal to owners.any, and o.id is equal to owner ID. Just like that. Let's go ahead and make our controller. Just call it owner controller. Some people do the plural form, some people do owners controller, but it doesn't really matter. Actually, I think the singular form looks a little bit better, just my opinion. So we're gonna go up here, and we're actually gonna close out some of this. This is getting a little crazy up here. Close that, close that, close that, close that. That. Had literally probably like 20 open at one time. Then we're just gonna take that, we're gonna copy it over here. Then we're going to copy this, bring that over here, and then control dot and bring in our MVC. Then we can't stop there. We got to bring in our constructor, bring in our repository I owner repository. We're going to do this, bring that over, bring that in, I'm sorry. Great. Assign field, put that in front there. Go down just like that. Then we also need to bring in imapper. So we're going to bring in mapper. So control dot. Assign field. Just like that. Awesome. So just like in all our other videos, we're just going to copy and paste these get controllers over. and go ahead and create our DTO before we get started. So go in here, create our DTO. We're gonna go owner DTO and go to our model. Get all these right here. Awesome. And go over to our owner. So owner DTO. We're going to bring that in. And we're returning an IEnumerable of owner as well too. So we need to go in here. So owners. Because we were getting the owners. And we're going to change all this so that it looks presentable. So we have owner repository, and I spelled owner wrong, that's why it's doing that. And we're going to go get owners. And that works great. Looks like that should do it for that endpoint. Then we're going to bring in this one. Just copy it down. We're going to go owner ID. Make sure that we're returning a type of owner. We're not returning an IEnumerable, remember that. We're going to change this. Great, so we have our owner ID. Remember, have those match. Man, you guys are going to be API beast after this because we are repeating building this API, and that's actually how you learn. A lot of people would say that in programming you're using a lot of critical thinking too, but in order to learn programming, it's just a lot of repetition. It's kind of like a unfun, unsexy fact that many people don't want to mention. People probably mentioned that before. Somebody actually left me an email saying I need to stop, trying to be like the realest programmer in the world and just kind of let things go. And I think he's kind of right. Like, I actually thought about it for a little bit, and I was just like, I think he's kind of right. I get feedback all the time. Some feedback I take, some I don't, but I actually have kind of learned that I'm going to have to chill on trying to be like the realest programmer. So, next thing, let's see. The next controllers are going to be relatively unique. So we're going to get Pokemon by owner. So go up here, HTTP get, just like that. We're gonna go owner ID and Pokemon. Then we could copy and paste this. Yes, and a Pokemon can only have one owner, so action result get Pokemon by owner is equal to int owner ID. If owner repository dot owner exists, owner ID, just like that. And I'm going to drag this over because it's getting in my way. So go in here, and if not, we're going to return not found. Just like that. And I need that extra parentheses there because it's going to throw an error. then here, I'm going to go owner is equal to mapper, mapper.map. We're going to return a list. And because we're getting a Pokemon by the owner, we're going to be returning a Pokemon. So we need our Pokemon DTO. And then owner repository dot get Pokemon by owner ID. Just like that. And we could bring this down here. That looks pretty terrible. So if model state dot is valid, return bad request. And if it is not valid, we're going to return that model state. And we're going to return OK. Got our owner. Great. And the last one, get Pokemon by owner. You could do the other API, but I made that API endpoint and nobody's probably going to get the owners of a Pokemon in a real API, and I just don't think that that's even really necessary to even go out of our way like that to make just an API endpoint that nobody's probably would even use in a real app. It's just kind of, All right, so we've got owner. What else do we have left? So we've got owner, we've got our Pokemon. Now we need to do our review, and it looks like we may be able to finish these. This is going to be It's going to be kind of like a longer video, but once again, hopefully we'll be able to finish all of these so that we can finally move on to doing create, update, deletes. And those are going to be a lot shorter in length. So I review repository. Great. So we're going to go here. Go in, iCollection. Review. Get reviews. Just go in here. And we're going to get our review. Get review. Int. Review ID, just like that. Then we go iCollection. We're gonna return an iCollection of view, and the IntelliSense is not right, so don't tab that. Get reviews of a Pokemon. We're gonna go int PokeID and Pokemon, and we're just going to go bool review exists, just like that, int review ID. Great. And you guys know the deal. We're going to go in here and we're going to create our review repository. Review repository. Just like that. Got to implement our interface and start filling these things out. So go in here, CTOR, go to our data context, mapper, equal to mapper, go down, go down, assign field, underscore, underscore. Then we're going to go in here, and just like that, we have all of our we have our context and we have our IMapper. Very easy. Let's see. So next thing, very simply, we're just going to return our context dot reviews dot where r is equal to r.id is equal to review ID first or default. Then we're going to have get reviews, return context dot reviews, and we're just going to to list this. We only have a couple reviews. Get reviews of a Pokemon, return context dot reviews dot where r is equal to r Pokemon dot id is equal to PokeID. Man, that was fast. Get reviews of Pokemon. Then we're gonna just go down here. We're gonna do a good old any views.any r is equal to r dot id is equal to review ID. Very simple. Then we're going to go into our repository folder. We're going to make our review, or we already made it. I'm sorry. What was I thinking? Then we're going to go to our controller, review controller, just like that. And we're going to go controller, bring over our Pokemon, see, Pokemon controller, bring it into that second pane just like that. So we can copy a lot of this so we don't have to be so redundant. Great, and go in here. So go, wait a minute. Do not do it. What I just did, you don't want to do. Do not do components, always do MVC. And you saw how easy you could get tripped up like that. So I review repository is equal to review repository IMapper is equal to mapper. Bring that in, bring that in, bring that in, bring that in, go down, just like that. Great. And just like we did before, we're going to go in, do our get reviews. Then we need to create our DTO. View DTO. Then go down to our model and just copy all that over. Just like that in DTO. Then go back to our controller, view DTO, Pokemon models. Reviews. Boom. Okay, then let's copy the next one. Go down. We're gonna call this review ID. Make this review. Go review repository. Review exists. And make sure that these are correct. Always make sure those are correct. Go review. Make that review. Make that review. Get review. View ID. And let me see. Get reviews. The last one that we're going to need is get reviews for a Pokemon. That's actually kind of an important one. It's a custom one that if you were going to build an API, you would obviously want to get reviews for a particular Pokemon. Just intuitively, that just kind of makes sense. If you're having an app, that's kind of like the whole entire reason. So that is not delete. I don't know why I made that delete. Okay, go in here. So we're going to go public iActionResult, iActionResult, get reviews for a Pokemon. And we're going to pass in our PokeID right here. So PokeID. And we're going to go var reviews is equal to underscore mapper dot map. Map list review DTO is equal to view repository dot get reviews of a Pokemon. I'm going to pass in that ID right there. Then we're going to go if model state is valid, not valid, we're going to return a bad request. Then go down here, we're going to return OK, and we're going to return our reviews. This should be reviews. You could name it. You could leave it review if you wanted to, although I probably wouldn't recommend that. Last one. But once we've got this last one done, all the infrastructure is going to be done. So it's kind of time consuming and maybe a tad bit annoying to be building out all these APIs, but you're getting a ton of practice. And I guarantee you, after building this API, you're going to be a master. Great. So we're going to go literally the same thing. So iCollection, reviewer, is equal to get reviewers. And we're going to bring this in. Then we're going to go reviewer, get reviewer, pass in that int reviewer ID, just like that. Then we're going to go in here, we're going to go iCollection. We're going to go review get reviews by reviewer. Then we're going to pass in reviewer ID. Then we're going to do get reviewer exist. And those are the only ones that we're going to need. You could slice it and dice it and do other things to it, but just for this case, those are, and for a real case app, that's probably the only ones you're going to need. Then we're going to go to repository. We're going to create a class again. Reviewer repository. Reviewer repository. So we're going to go in there, we're going to implement that interface, control dot, ctor, double tap, data context, see. We're going to bring in IMapper, mapper, bring that in, sign field, underline, take out the this, underline, take out the this, underline, got everything we need. So we're gonna do getting a single reviewer. So we're gonna go into our reviewers dot where, and we're gonna go R, because it's a reviewer, dot ID is equal to reviewer ID. And for this one, let's do an includes so that, let me see. And I'm going to show you guys how to bring in, I'm going to show you guys how to use include. Specifies, so if you read the description, specifies related entities to include in the query result. The navigation property to be included is specified starting with the type. So basically what it's going to be doing is it's going to be including the navigation property. If you don't know what the navigation property is, right click the reviewer, and then this is the navigation property, and that's what it's going to be showing you. And you can go in there, and then it's going to show you all of that. And this is going to be more so just kind of just to show you what it is and show you how it works, because that's going to be pretty important. So get reviewers, we're going to go return context dot reviewers dot to list, and then get reviews by reviewer. So we're going to go return, it's misaligned. Let me just make sure that's aligned correctly. Return context dot reviews dot where R is equal to R dot reviewer dot ID is equal to reviewer ID. And we're going to go do a to list just like that. Then, of course, as we have done in all of our other ones, we're going to go return context dot reviewers dot any is equal to R dot ID is equal to reviewer ID. Reviewer exists, and I forgot to put in the reviewer ID, so I'm gonna have to, you may have caught it, but if you didn't, I'm just gonna go back and add that so that we have that. And when you mess with the implementation like that, you're going to break the interface. So right click up here, go to definition, and then just go ahead and add the reviewer ID. Or you can just copy it right here, paste it in right here. Great. So let's go ahead and build out our controller. So go up here, API controller, and you can copy this, or you could type it whichever you please. So go up here, make sure you do MVC, and we're gonna go CTOR, Pokemon, iReviewer repository, iReviewer repository, reviewer repository. Then we're gonna go iMapper. We're gonna go mapper. Great. And control dot, assign field, control dot, assign field, underscore, take out the this, underscore, take out the this, underscore. Then we're going to go up to our Pokemon controller. Going to paste that. We're going to get rid of that because that's not even needed. We're going to get our reviewers. And just like the other one, we got to go make our DTO. Reviewer DTO. We're gonna make that class. So just go in here and let's just toss this whole entire thing in there. See if we can get that reviewers. So bring in that. And then reviewer DTO. And then copy this in here. Spelled that wrong. Viewers. Great. So bring that in there. You just copy and paste that down here. Just like that. Then let's go do the same thing for the get. Reviewer. Then let's go ahead and copy this. So we don't. Boom. Boom. Paste that in there. Make everything look congruent. Change this to reviewer instead of Pokemon. Change this up here to reviewer. Change this to reviewer. Reviewer exists. Reviewer repository. Get reviewers. Or get reviewer. Just like that. And that should be, wait a minute, we have one more. So get, shh. Sorry, my dog's barking. Get reviewer of a review, get reviews by a reviewer. So the last one is we're going to get the reviews by a reviewer. So http get we're going to go in here. We get these reviews. Action result. Action result. Get reviews by a reviewer. That is it. Let me go down here. Great. So we can copy this up here. And var reviews, because we're getting reviews, is equal going to be reviewer repository, get reviews by a reviewer, reviewer ID, if, then we can copy and paste this. And lastly, we're going to return, okay, and we're going to return those reviews. And that is looking to be it. I forgot one thing. So I got to go mapper.map. It's going to be reviewer DTO. And because it's reviews, as in plural or more than one, we're going to have that. Then that's supposed to be another bracket right there, I think. Sweet. Last thing that we need to do is we need to make sure we have our mapping configurations. So we have map, and because we're only mapping them one way, it's going to be pretty easy. Once we start you have to be cognizant of which way that you are mapping them. But since we're only mapping them for GET request, I typically remember it like this. Like, this is when you have the plural, or you have the Pokemon first and the DTO second. That is how I remember that it's a GET request. It's like a neat, not a neat trick, but a trick that I use in order to distinguish them. So we have reviewer. Those are supposed to be brackets. Just like that. And then we also have to go in and do our wire up our dependency injection. So we're going to go up here. We're going to go owner. We're going to go owner. We're going to go review. Review. We're going to go reviewer. And we're going to go reviewer. just like that. And fingers crossed that this works, because we just built out all of that and we need to test it. So we've already done category, we've already done country, we've already done Pokemon. We gotta just test them out one by one. Great. Good sign. Just toss in a 1. Awesome. Let me make sure that data is correct. Yep, that is the correct data. So, the Pokemon of owners. Great. Yes, it's working. Yep. Those are our reviews. We're going to get individual reviews. Hopefully this works. Yep, our reviews work. We even get our nice little rating. Get our Poke ID so we get the reviews for a specific Pokemon. Oh my god, look at that. What a beautiful little API. Get the reviewer. Let me see here. Went in and I found the issue is that we actually need to map this to a review DTO. So we're gonna go in here, and it makes sense. I should have figured that out, but it's difficult to, you know, figure all this stuff out like on the stream. So we're gonna go in here. So try it out. Go just like that. And works like a charm. Go in here. A possible JSON cycle was detected. Let me see. This has to do. Okay, so I went and found the way to solve the cycles problem. So this is like, you get this error every single time that you, so whenever you get the object cycles error, what you want to do is go into your program file and just paste this right here. That's all you want to do. You just want to go into your program file and paste builder services, add controllers, add JSON options, and then the JSON serializers, reference handler. And this is actually like a, what is happening is that when you have a many-to-many relationship, what it does is it's going to go into the entity and it literally gets stuck in a loop. In order for it to not get stuck in the loop, you have to have this part right here. And once you do that, it actually finishes it, and you can see all the reviews for the person. So that is it. That was a very long video, but after this, we're up to create, update, delete, and that's going to be a lot more simple and maybe not a lot more simple, but it's going to be a lot shorter. If you guys enjoyed this, make sure to hit that like button, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and as always, thank you for watching.